Welcome to Through the Hurricane. I'm Kathleen Kane, the first woman elected Attorney General of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Have you ever looked down and seen the pieces of your life on the floor and wondered what happened? You haven't just been through a storm, you've been through a hurricane. Sometimes we think that we'll never have joy, we'll never have love again, we'll never have a normal life again. But Through the Hurricane will teach you that the power of love and resistance and the human mind can do anything. We all experience a hurricane, but the human spirit is indestructible. This is Through the Hurricane. Let's walk through this storm together. Welcome to Through the Hurricane. I'm your host, Kathleen Kane. Today we have a very special guest. Did you ever think that the diagnosis of cancer wouldn't actually be the worst thing? Today we have a very Irish girl who is going to tell us the good, the bad, and the ugly of the behind the scenes. Nothing is funny about cancer, but at least we can talk about it now without whispering, and at least we can sit here and talk about a diagnosis and the treatment for someone who's actually still going through it. Christine Fletcher, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me on the show.
It was wonderful meeting you the other day. We had such a nice lunch and we had such a nice back and forth, and your stories are, at first I was like, oh my God, that is so terrible, I'm so sorry. But you made it so funny and we ended up laughing most of the time. And I want that for our listeners because I want them to know that you can laugh through it and you can have a good time. And yes, it's not going to be pretty, but you're sitting here and letting them know that they're not alone as well. And I also want to say something to the listeners, and you know who you are, who are like, this is going to be too rough to hear, I'm going to turn it off, I'll just catch the next episode. I want you to power through it because it's good for us to know what someone else is going through. There isn't anyone who hasn't been touched by cancer, whether it's their friends, their family members, themselves, their neighbors. So I think it's good for all of us to hear exactly what you're going through and what you need and what you think about it all.
Yeah. I think that's a great way to bring it up because it's not just the person who's diagnosed that is walking this journey, it's every single person around you. And I think there's a lot of guilt that you don't talk about with that you're disrupting so many lives and you have so many people worried, and there's a lot of mom guilt, it comes in waves. But I think for me, I had to really own that if I'm going to walk through this, then I'm going to do it in the most positive way possible, because if you don't laugh, you cry. So, and there's been plenty of tears, don't let me fool you.
I'm sure. So let's let everyone know, you didn't have just one cancer or two, you actually had 3 cancers.
In 3 years, yeah. It was the 4th of July weekend of 2022. I was 41 years old, and my husband and I had taken our girls to New York to visit friends for the 4th of July weekend. And it was that weekend that I noticed there was a lump. But I was kind of dismissive of it, and I took it seriously enough that I made an appointment as soon as I got home, but I don't think it really registered in my brain because cancer was never on my radar. It's just something that I didn't think about, unfortunately. No. So I went to see my OBGYN when we came back from that trip, and he was standing across the room from me and told me that he could see it from across the room, which was very scary. I had just lost, I want to say between 50 and 60 pounds the year before, so things looked a little different, but I thought it was attributed to the weight loss, and maybe if I had gained a little bit, they would fill out normally as they were before. So I did notice a change, but I chalked it up to the wrong thing.
Sure.
So after that was the imaging. They sent me for a mammogram and imaging and said, after the imaging, your doctor will call you the next day and give you the results. So we did the mammogram. I went in for the imaging, and it took a very long time, like over an hour. And the longer that I laid on that table, the more I thought, could this be a thing? Yeah. Really?
Well, what were you thinking when you were laying there thinking, this is taking too long, could this be a thing? Were you scared?
I was confused, and I think I was more scared than I let myself admit at the moment. But then the nurse said the doctor will be right in. And that's when my gut just fell out from my body, and I thought, oh no. And he came in and basically just prepared me for the fact that he thought that I had breast cancer. And I didn't take it gently. I was challenging a little bit, like, how could you know just by looking at, an ultrasound? And he said, I've been doing this for 25 years. I'm very certain, but we'll wait for the results. So that was my daughter's birthday.
Oh no. Were you glad that he gave you a little bit of the heads up, or would you have rather just wait?
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
I think I felt blindsided in that moment. So I can't imagine if I didn't have that heads up. But I remember meeting my family at a trampoline park because we were celebrating her birthday, and taking my husband to the parking lot and saying, this doctor told me today that he thinks I have breast cancer. But I think we were still at the stage where we didn't really believe it.
Right.
And so I kept calling day after day for my results. And I called one afternoon while I was at work. I'm a social worker. I worked in a state prison, and I'm in the parking lot at my lunch break. And she finally gives me my results, and she says, you have invasive lobular carcinoma, and it's spreading at an alarming rate. And I don't think I really remember the rest of the workday. I know that I went to my friend's office, and another coworker was there, thankfully, that I was close to, and I just kind of processed it with them. But it was such a blur that I really wasn't sure what happens next.
Right. Did you finish out the day at work?
Oh, sure.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
That's good work ethic.
Well, I worked all through the breast cancer, actually. I was diagnosed on August 4th, and I didn't, in that imaging, have any cancerous lymph nodes.
And that's a good thing.
That's a great thing, meaning that it can't spread to your body more quickly. So we went to see my general surgeon for the first time, and this is when she explains what our options are. And she says, we can take a lumpectomy where it was actually 2 tumors instead of 1, but we can remove them and sew it back up and you continue on. However, because it is lobular breast cancer and not ductal, I think most women are diagnosed with ductal breast cancer, which is a tumor, and the cancer kind of radiates out from there. Where with lobular carcinoma, it kind of snakes one way and spiders this way. So they knew at some point, inevitably, I would get it in my right breast again. So option 2 was that we could remove the right breast. We could do a unilateral mastectomy. But again, said at some point, because you're only 41, you will get it in your left breast. So we decided at that point just to be safe and take it all at once. And I remember sitting in the waiting room after that appointment, and my husband said to me, "This is such great news." And I said, "Did you just hear what I heard?" He heard, "She's gonna be okay."
Oh.
And I heard, "I don't even know if I'm gonna feel like a woman anymore." Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And then I think at that appointment, the entire race was laid out for me. So you're gonna have this double mastectomy. And what they do is they remove the breast tissue, and then they kind of tag a plastic surgeon in. He puts what they call expanders in, and then slowly over time, you visit him each week, and he will fill those expanders with liquid until you get to a point where you feel like this is where I would like to stop. And then eventually they swap those expanders for implants, and your reconstruction is finished. So she said, "We're gonna do this double mastectomy, and then you're gonna need to start chemotherapy." And
how was that?
I think my biggest fear was looking like a cancer patient. I didn't want people to treat me differently. I didn't want them to see me as sick.
Did you tell anybody else besides your coworkers, your family, about the cancer, or
not right away?
No,
we kept it pretty close for a minute. But inevitably, I had to take off this huge chunk of time for work, and So yeah, I think as it got closer to the surgery date, pretty much everyone at work and all of our family and friends had been notified, but it was just a very, even though I knew what steps were coming next, it was still so unknown. So we started the chemotherapy journey, and she did tell me between treatments like 2 and 3, you'll start to notice your hair spinning and falling out. And I don't think, maybe it's different for men, but I don't think people understand how emotional it is to lose your hair. I think people try to, and God love them, they want to make you feel better.
Right.
They want,
look on the bright
yes,
side. Right.
It'll grow back.
Right.
It's just hair. And I feel like an alien.
Yeah.
I look down at my body, I don't recognize myself. I don't have hair, eyebrows, eyelash, any of it. You just look sick. So I thought maybe I'll do wigs, then no one can tell.
Right. And I'm sure there were lots of women who would be like, I'd love to wear a wig, right?
It sounds fun, doesn't it?
It does.
On a weekend night.
Sound fun. Look like Cher every now and then. Right?
And I wound up with all of these wigs. I think I purchased one, but I ended up with more than 10. I'm not sure how.
People gave them to you?
I would receive them in the mail from various different agencies, and it was incredible. In the beginning, I signed up for some support type groups, and I was able to reach out to a lot of people online, but I didn't really have anyone in my life who had gone through this. So I reconnected with a girl that I grew up with in Philadelphia, who I didn't know was now living in Duryea, and I'm up here. So I thought, oh, this is wonderful, we'll reconnect. She had just gone through breast cancer, so she really held my hand and kind of walked me through the journey. Chemotherapy and what to expect, and little tips.
Anything you want to share? Any tips you'd like to share?
I think there's just a lot of unknown side effects as far as, everyone knows you get nauseous, and there's other hidden fun gems about chemo, as far as the breast cancer, I have to say, wasn't as bad. That chemotherapy was a very different formula than the one I had later. But I remember sitting in my kitchen and my husband was going to shave my hair, because at that point it was just patches, and I was wearing hats at work and trying to cover it. And my daughter was with us, and I remember thinking, you have to be strong for her. She's watching you. And I couldn't. I bawled like a baby. It felt like it took part of me,
Right.
and it was that femininity that I feel like I missed.
Right.
So that was really crippling. What I did eventually decide to do, I think I wore the wig one time to work, but it felt very inauthentic, like disingenuous. So I wound up wearing these head wraps, and they were very comfortable and didn't move, and I could hide the fact that I didn't have eyebrows anymore.
It
And
made you feel a little bit better?
exactly.
Okay,
So
that's a good tip.
continued to go to work. Radiation then started, and that was 6 weeks of showing up every morning at 7 o'clock for radiation. The longer that you're being radiated, the more horrific your burns are. So I think they had me down for the most radiation, and throughout that process, as that 6 weeks went on, I did develop like very horrific burns on the right side. And there's all kinds of creams and things that they recommend, but it was just incredibly painful.
Every morning for 6 weeks?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I had
So
no
I
idea it
would
was
get
that
radiation and then drive right to work. And
you're like the star employee. I hope you got employee of the month.
I mean, until then, maybe.
Okay.
I don't know if I remain the star. So, it seemed like, okay, we're finally moving forward. I was starting to work on the breast reconstruction. We had basically a year had gone by from when I had my original surgery, and it was time to swap the expanders for implants. So I had a surgery to do that, and 2 weeks later, I had fallen asleep on the couch on a Friday night, and I woke up Saturday morning I had a little scab in one spot, so I kept some gauze and cream on it. And that morning I went to pull the gauze out and I saw that it was bloody, like dripping with blood. And I said, oh my God. And my daughter looked over and saw it. And now she runs to the backyard and she's screaming for my husband, Dad, Mom needs you. And I can hear him say, are you being serious? And she said, with that, I go into the bathroom and now I'm yelling because I can see what they can't see. And I hear him hopping 2 fences to run inside. And he said, what happened? And I said, I don't even know how to say this to you. I just have to show you. And I lifted my shirt and I showed him that the incision had opened completely and that the implant was more on the outside of my body than on the inside. It was basically just dangling there.
Oh, gosh.
And I don't think I've ever seen anything more horrific. So
you didn't pass out? I would have passed out.
I cried. I think I got super scattered and I cried, but in those moments, my husband shines. Like, okay, go put your shoes on, grab your purse. I just called the doctor, and I can't even put one foot in front of the other. I'm just like, so we go to the hospital and I called that plastic surgeon and basically told him what happened. And he said, I'm in my office today. Why don't you come here? And that was so confusing because we thought everything he needs to put this back in is in this hospital. Why would we go to his office? So I remember even asking the ER nurses, like, what do I do? And she said, honey, I can't tell you. So we wound up going to his office. And I remember thinking, I need a picture of this. I have to take a picture. So I reached over to grab my phone, and with that, I heard it hit the floor.
Oh, dear God.
And that's when I wanted to vomit.
Lord.
Yes. It was, sorry, it was a splat like you've never heard.
You don't have to apologize. I'm sorry for you.
It gets very nitty-gritty, but I'll kind of keep it light if I can.
I hope that wasn't the light version.
No, but our future surgeries get a little intense, but I'll just skim the surface.
No. I'm actually just being a little facetious, but and anybody who knows me knows that I would have been passed out on the floor.
Yes, I mean, it's a scary, shocking vision that
almost
you just
alien-like.
Yes. Again, this is just not my body. This is all foreign. So what he wound up doing was he stitched it up and he said, call me next week. And I did not. I found a new plastic surgeon and I never saw him again.
Oh, wow.
I was really upset because there were 3 different things that he had told me weren't possible. One of them being a muscle flap where you take skin from another part of your body and you place it on the breast. That wasn't an option. He said I was too thin. We talked about nipple tattooing. He said that that's not something they do. You just go to a tattoo shop. And I thought, oh, that's really weird. I thought it was like a medical procedure in a medical building.
I can't even imagine going to a tattoo shop and saying,
here, could you give me some nipples, please? What? So the third thing was he said, we had to have a very small, like a baby A cup because there was so much scar tissue. So I see this new plastic surgeon and he basically tells me he can do all 3 of those things. They're not an issue. So I thought maybe I am where I'm supposed to be.
When you got those bright little lights, well, I won't even say a light, I'll say a flicker every now and then. Did that kind of rejuvenate your spirit, or were you, trying to remain up the entire time?
I think I searched for reasons to remain positive. So it's very easy to just
absolutely.
And everyone would understand.
Yes.
But I have these 2 girls in my house and they're watching me and I'm trying to walk through this with dignity and a little bit of grace, even though you don't feel that. Right. You feel, everything feels foreign. I don't know how to describe it. So over time we wound up, kind of healing as a family. We were able to put it in the rearview mirror and it seemed like, wow, we really got a very tough lesson in how to appreciate what you have. Just gratitude,
right.
For not the big things, but all the tiny little things. And we stayed on that high for a while. And then this time last year, it was actually May, I was having some pains in my stomach, but we had a trip scheduled. We were taking a cruise at the end of last summer to renew our vows, and our daughters were coming with us. So I did have a doctor's appointment to see my GI, but I didn't want to take a lot of time from work. You know, I had taken so much time already.
And you didn't want to run the cruise.
No,
and
that would be the
else.
worst.
Exactly.
That would be the worst outcome.
That is such a human response, though. It can wait. Why ruin everyone's time?
It's not a crisis. No. It's not an
We
emergency.
already had our storm.
Exactly. We've walked through it.
Right.
But it seemed to really intensify over time. Like that month and a half, it was definitely getting worse. It was starting to feel like contractions where I'd be okay for a few minutes and then it would creep up and it would really be this like debilitating pain, and then something would turn and then it would settle. And then it was the buildup again, and it just all through the day. So it was the morning that I had that GI appointment. And I thought, I can't even make it till 2 o'clock. Like I have to go to the emergency room. So I did at about 5 in the morning. And that was a little bit of a horrific experience because I think I caught people maybe at the wrong moments. When I came in, I could tell that the doctor was leaving and kind of just signed me up for an X-ray and and have a great life and left.
Shift change.
Yes, exactly. It was just before 6. So they wheel me into the X-ray room, and the man's looking at me and he said, "I'm confused." And I said, "Why?" And he told me, "I'm supposed to be checking the placement of your NG tube, but you don't have one."
What is an NG tube?
I only had one time ever. In 2018, I had an ulcer rupture. And what it is, it's a tube that goes up your nose and down into your stomach, and it pumps out.
Oh.
Look, we'll just leave it that.
Okay.
Pumps out, period.
I was going to put another word for it. I was going to say stomach juice, but that's probably
bile,
gross.
whatever it is.
Okay.
But you can see it,
Oh.
and it's incredibly uncomfortable because every time you swallow, you feel it. You really can't eat or drink very much. There's a huge metal clamp keeping it attached to your nose. So I remember back in 2018, I wouldn't let my girls come and see me at the hospital until I got that out because it was scary looking.
Right. You don't want to scare them.
But at that point, it was placed while I was sleeping. Fast forward to last year, and I said, "Are you telling me that I need an NG tube?" And he said, "Yes." And I thought, oh my God, here we go again. What is happening?
Right.
So they got me up to a room, and 4 different nurses tried to get this tube up my nose, and it was not working.
And you're awake at this point.
I'm awake. This is where it gets nitty-gritty, but I'm crying, I'm gagging, I'm sure it's snot coming. It was awful.
Not pretty.
No, they finally wound up trying pediatric tubes because they were much smaller. They wouldn't go down. It actually took the surgeon to come in the room and place this NG tube. It was awful.
Okay, so you go to the hospital with this pain, they tell you need an NG tube, now you're going through this, but you don't even know why you're going through it.
I don't know why I'm there. I know why I'm there because it hurts, but I don't know what the cause is.
Right.
I wound up being in the hospital for 2 weeks, but it was 10 days that I was there before they operated. And that was agony because I can't take any pain medicine because I'm not going to the bathroom and it's only going to make it worse. I can't eat anything because now I'm just compounding what's in there and can't get out. We tried all different methods to naturally pass it, and none of them worked.
So what was the issue? What was the problem?
A bowel obstruction.
bowel
There was something blocking my colon. So eventually, by day 10, I'm begging them, please, let's do this surgery. Like, I can't take it anymore. So they did.
Oh no, it gets worse.
You have no idea.
Oh.
I woke up from that surgery, and before my eyes were open, I won't curse on your show, but I said, "What is that effing smell?"
Oh.
And then I opened my eyes and I realized it's coming from me, but it's coming from my insides, and it's everywhere.
Yes.
Imagine a clogged drain.
Right.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
It was a month and a half worth of food
Yes.
that had nowhere to go. So I woke up with them trying to put a bag back on my stomach. And I'm looking and I thought, is that? No. Like, we never talked about that. This could not be a colostomy bag. But it was.
Oh no.
And that was a horrific surprise.
Yeah. They are, my mother had diverticulitis.
Oof.
And they went in and the first time and said, I think we cleared it out. But then she also had Alzheimer's at the same time. So it was confusing for her as to whether she actually had pain or not.
Sure.
And the doctor said, I know we took it all out, but if she keeps having this pain, I'm going to have to go back in and give her a colostomy bag. And I was begging her, please make sure you have actual pain, because this is not going to be pretty. You are not going to like this. And no, I have the pain. So she came out with it. And I don't think I've ever seen my poor mother so miserable in her life. It was, I don't even know the word for it. I really don't know how to describe it.
It's crippling.
It's crippling. And if you've never had one or seen one or had to take care of one, you wouldn't have any idea how atrocious it is.
And how much it requires.
Yes.
There were just so many components to it that I had no idea. I had never known anyone.
And worse than the components to it are the mishaps that can happen with it. Yes.
I mean, I don't think anyone really wants to think about that part. But for me, the next 8 months was that part. They did tell me it's reversible. We can reverse this in a few months. So that gave me hope. But I think I was only in the hospital 2 more days. I went home, and that night, my colostomy bag leaked. And it leaked every day and every night, 7 to 12, 14 times in a 24-hour span would this bag leak all over me. I can't begin to describe to you how debilitating that was.
I would also go so far as to say dehumanizing.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely. You said it perfectly. When you're in your bathroom alone and it's 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and you know other people have faced this, but you feel so alone when you're cursing God and you're crying and screaming and just nowhere for this frustration to go. But for me, it was a surgical issue. You're supposed to have the area that it attaches to raised from your skin, but mine was inverted. So instead of filtering properly into the bag, it would just leak down the front of me all the time.
Did at a certain point you think to yourself when you were in the bathroom at night, where did my nice life go? Where did it all go?
It became a huge quality of life issue. I remember the first lunch I went to after, home health had been in my house for 2 months, and I thought, okay, I could do this. I can go to lunch with my cousin. And we went to Chili's, and I had to change not just the bag and all the components, but my clothing, my entire outfit. I had to change twice in the bathroom during one lunch. And then you feel like, I don't even want to leave the house. I don't want to go anywhere. I have to take 6 changes of clothes, 35 bags of supplies, and then trying to wrap my head around, how do I now take this to work? Because I worked all through the breast cancer, but this was different.
So did you take a leave of absence from work?
I had to. I had let my supervisor know that I was being admitted that morning. And then I just tried to keep them abreast of everything that had come up. But I guess from their perspective, it didn't seem very hopeful that I would be back in time by the date that they had given me a return to work date. And I understood you can't hold someone's position indefinitely. I didn't really have much time left to use, and I still had surgeries that are required. So in good conscience, you can't go back just to go back out again.
So you were telling me at a certain point, they wanted you back, obviously. They wanted you to come back. And at a certain point, you went through basically the logistics of if
Yeah.
you did go back and what it would be like for you to have to do that. And I just want you to explain that story, not just for the shock value of it, because it is disturbing what a human being would have to go through, but because work is so important, people have to go back to work.
Sure.
And I know employers sometimes want you back, but it might be a little educational if we actually thought through what that person would have to do, and maybe make it a little bit easier for them, or somehow come up with some more time to give them to do it. Because it sounds like you were an amazing employee. I mean, clearly you were liked there.
I won't correct you.
No, I think you would. And we won't have anyone on who will, I promise.
No, I won't allow it.
No, that's right. But describe to us, if you went back to work,
Sure.
tell me what your day would be like.
Oh, just the clock-in process.
And you're at a prison, by the way,
Yes.
which makes it 100 times worse. So go ahead.
Basically, anything that you bring into the prison that is not a part of you needs to be on a clearance sheet, meaning my supervisor and the superintendent would sign off ahead of time that they know that I'm bringing this in and it's approved on this day. You can also have standing clearances where, for the next couple months, this person will be bringing this in every day. But I started to make a list of what would go on that clearance, and obviously all of the medical supplies. Now, this means that when we all come in at 8 o'clock and we all clock in on the same time card or same time clock, we're all walking through the metal detector at the same time.
And there's a line going on.
Oh, yes, yes. So the one correctional officer who's standing there would need to go through, and I mean each little ring, each Band-Aid, each gauze pad, to make sure that it all correlates to the gate clearance. Not to mention, I would have to bring in at least 2 to 3 changes of clothes every day, because it would just leak so unpredictably that I didn't know when or where it would happen. Praying that it wouldn't happen while I'm sitting with an inmate, I think, should I be by myself and in my office, which I'm all over the prison, I would have to get through 2 locked doors to get to the bathroom. But one of those locked doors is a library full of inmates. So I would be walking through, covered in my own feces, change my bag, change my clothes. Then what do I do with the dirty clothes? Like, do I just walk out every day with a bag of feces clothing?
And when you finally realized, oh my God, this is what I'm going to have to do, I bet you were upset that you couldn't go back to work.
I think I was a little bit angry that it was taking so long. I really thought that the reversal would happen quickly. But then we got a call that the pathology report came back and that I had stage 4 cancer in both my colon and my appendix. Now, this is the same surgeon, ironically, who did my double mastectomy years ago. She wound up being the surgeon who did this. And I remember sitting on that phone and saying, you are not telling me this right now. Like, we just got through this. And all I kept thinking of was, how do I tell my girls? What do I say? We just got past this nightmare, and now I have to sit them down and say, just kidding, we're going through it all over again.
So how did you do that?
Oh, it was probably the worst conversation I've ever had in my entire
Did you have
life.
them together?
Sure. Yes, my husband and I sat them down together, and I let them know that the test results came back and what they were. I wouldn't say that either of my girls are super emotional, but they were that night. My older daughter lost it, and she would repeat things like, I don't tell you this enough, but I need you in my life and you have to fight. And I told them, I'll give it all I got for you guys. I don't really care, but I will fight to the death.
This one-time judge.
I mean, honestly.
But you can always
for
find
them,
something,
they
right?
gave me
That's
the drive.
good.
And that was pretty debilitating to hear. Oh my God, this is my 3rd stage 4 cancer diagnosis in 3.5 years. Like,
It's incredible.
When does this like subside for them?
Right.
I don't care about the doctor's appointments and all the medical melee, but my family and co-workers and all the people who are picking up my slack that I'm not there.
The ones who rallied behind you the first time, now you're going back and saying, we need to do this all over
And that's
again.
another thing. People showed up for us during the breast cancer. People that I never expected, people I hadn't heard from in years, childhood people. Everyone showed up for us. And I remember thinking, they're gonna be like, this girl's exhausting. I've had enough. She's just got too much drama for me, you know, too much chaos. So, you know, there was that guilt. All the social workers are having to work extra because I'm not there. And, you know, my husband's going to games for our kids because I can't be there. And it was just a lot of shuffling and trying to be present when I could and managing my emotions.
What were your emotions? Because I would just be like, Jesus Christ, are you kidding me? Like, what did I do to deserve this?
I think because I had that childhood friend who had breast cancer, right when she had beaten her breast cancer, they diagnosed her with bone cancer, and she died pretty quickly after that. So when I received this second diagnosis, I thought, this is 1 in a million. And then I remembered my friend Wendy, and I thought, oh, maybe this is the death sentence. I got by unscathed the first time, but this is when it happens. And then you try to think about what that does to your kids. You try not to think about it. You try to. It's an emotional roller coaster where I think if it weren't for the people around us, I mean, it really wasn't even an option. I would not have gone through the chemotherapy again. I would not have gone through any of it, really.
But now that you're through it, would you have changed your mind looking back?
No.
No? That's a very honest answer.
No. I think above all, you know, we've had some very, very low lows the past few years, but I also think that we found the most incredible moments of gratitude and trying to really find the positivity when it feels like there is no light. That was a big driving force for me, was to let people know that it's not a death sentence. It's not the scary C word that it was a couple decades ago.
We're whispering to each other.
Yes, like,
right.
she has the cancer.
Right.
You know?
Right.
After a while, you know, I thought, okay, let's ride this out. Let's see how it goes. Maybe it's not a death sentence, but I did decide to go out of the area for this cancer treatment. I felt like the breast cancer was very cut and dry and also kind of separated from all these major organs that the colon and appendix were attached to. In fact, I didn't realize, I wasn't told that they took my appendix out until 2 months after it happened.
Wow.
Didn't realize I was walking around without an appendix. Learn something new every day.
So where did you go, Fox Chase?
We did, yeah. We went back home to Philadelphia. We went to Fox Chase, and that combination of chemotherapy, I was expecting to be similar to the breast cancer chemotherapy. I didn't realize how radically different they could be. And I have to tell you, this chemo was very difficult. Although I didn't lose my hair, and I was grateful for that, there were so many other side effects that were raging. I had terrible mouth sores that were going down into my throat, and even like a drink of water felt like fire. So I wasn't eating. I was down to 80 pounds.
Oh my goodness.
They were giving me TPN, which is like a nutrition via IV, where I would be hooked up to these nutrition bags for days at a time because I couldn't keep weight on. Everything I ate came right out of that bag. In fact, all of my medication, you could see swimming in the bag.
What is still in the bag?
Yes.
Still? Oh my
Yes, like
God.
what is the point of even taking these meds or bothering to try to put weight on when everything just comes out, hopefully in the bag, but usually on me.
Right.
So once we were at Fox Chase a minute, I remember sitting in the waiting room and these two gentlemen were talking, and one had said that his current cancer came on the heels of a different cancer. And the man he was talking to said, the same thing happened to me. And here I'm thinking, this is 1 in a million,
Right.
but it's really not super uncommon. So then I thought, okay, we got this. Like, we can do this, you know?
Band together.
Absolutely. It was devastating that I couldn't return to work by the date I was given. However, again, I understood, you know, they can't just hold it forever. But it was very trying financially. My husband, because he had to go with me to all of these appointments and surgeries, he also lost his job when I did.
Oh my goodness.
So the two of us were out of work. We had no income.
How is this now between you and your husband in your marriage? Because that's a hell of a lot of strain, you know, on just a normal marriage, financial strain and health strains. Now you've got it all going on and you're young on top of it. It isn't something you expected, you know, when you're 80. No. So how was your marriage working at that point?
It definitely had its moments, but I have to tell you that we came together like gangbusters. Like the two of us really, instead of feeling like we were just on our own, he as the caregiver and me as the patient, really leaned on each other, and we knew we can't get through this without each other. I wouldn't want to. He was so devoted and supportive and wonderful. I didn't even have patience to handle me most days. I don't know how he did, but we wound up finding this place near Fox. Well, it's affiliated with Fox Chase, called the Hope Lodge. And if you live more than 45 minutes from Fox Chase, you're able to stay there overnight when you come down for treatments and stuff. And I remember walking around the Hope Lodge and thinking, these people are fighting. You know, they are grasping at anything they can hold on to not get blown away with the wind. And every single person there has the biggest smile on their face. They float through the halls. They don't walk. They touch each other. They enlighten each other. They have groups just for caregivers to come together and talk about how hard it is to be the unsung hero. I mean, they're going through everything that you are, but nobody's saying, great job, you're so strong. You know, you're a warrior to the caregiver, when sometimes it's harder on them. I mean, both of us felt very out of control, but at least we had each other to bring some solidarity.
Okay, so now this is going to be super corny, but I'm going to say it anyway, because I did just watch for the first time the other night the movie Love Story.
Oh, good one.
And your story just reminded me of that. It sounds like that's what it is. And you know, we always talk about finding that beacon of light in any situation, because it's there. A lot of people just don't look for it, or they don't recognize it, or they completely shut it out. But that sounds like such a bright light, and almost like this is a beautiful moment, and our marriage is actually better now and not kind of languishing, just, you know, going through the motions.
And I think anyone that knows us knows that to be true. That these past 4 years have brought such solidarity to our marriage, and prioritizing family over everything and anything else. I think those were some of the real lessons that we learned.
That's great. How did you get through it financially?
I think what was the most trying for us was during those 8 months that I had the bag, because insurance pays for so much. However, I was going through a month's worth of supplies in a week, because you're supposed to keep a bag on for like 3 to 5 days. I couldn't keep it on for 3 to 5 hours. They would just leak everywhere. So in a week, you're out of supplies. Now you're shopping on the internet and going to this drugstore that has some kind of medical supply. And I'm paying out of pocket for these rings or the bags or strips, bandage, all of it. And it got to be really difficult toward the end. So thankfully in November, I was told I didn't have any cancer left in my organs, but that I had a ton of cancerous tumors in the lining of my stomach. So what they decided they were going to do is open it up. They basically pour warm chemotherapy on each and every one of those tumors. And the surgery is about 16 hours because most of it you're just laying there asleep while it's working. It's magic.
Oh, I thought you were going to say on the way. That would have been my final blow.
Reading a book.
Somebody would have had to take over for the rest.
It was wonderful because I had been begging them for months and months to reverse the bag during that HIPEP procedure, and they wouldn't agree to it. That it was too close to, cross-contamination issues and infection risks. So I accepted that, but at some point, I think I might have just begged quite enough that the scales tipped a little.
Beg/bully, you mean?
Oh, it was bad. I think it was more a surrender. Like, you have to help me. I can't do this anymore. Like, I genuinely don't feel like I can live like this for one more week. They finally agreed to reverse the bag during the HIPEP surgery.
Thank goodness.
So over Thanksgiving, I was down at Fox Chase for 10 days inpatient. And I told you some of my roommate stories. They're fabulous, but
well, those are also the things that we don't think about. Oh, we just think of you down at Fox Chase in this nice nightgown or whatever, with your nice hair looking great. But we don't think about that awful hospital gown you have on. We don't think about the nightmare roommate that you have.
The epidural that fell out, and now all of a sudden I'm in extreme pain and I have no idea why. Yes. All those little things. Yes. So it kept it interesting.
Tell us a funny story about one of these women.
The very last one I had, I would say the best one I had was Tram, because she didn't speak a word of English. The only thing she said to me when she left was bye, and I said bye. But Denise was my last roommate, and she was horrific, Kathleen. No, not difficult, horrific.
Oh no.
It was bad. I mean, you could tell that this woman, that life had been hard on her.
Oh.
But she, I guess, was in the elevator, discharged and ready to leave, and they brought her back in and readmitted her because she was seeing people who weren't there and talking to herself. And they thought Christine would be an excellent roommate for her.
Well, that's a compliment, Christine. Or not. It could be
I think
the other
I just got unlucky. But all night long she would call people and then fall asleep, and then they'd be screaming on the phone to wake her up.
Yeah. And how does anyone expect you to heal and get healthier when you can't sleep at night? All you could think about is, I need to get myself out of here right now. How does that? I don't understand roommates in the hospital, but I don't understand visitors either. Because if you're not going to come and see me when I'm healthy, please God, do not come and see me when I'm laying in a hospital bed feeling terrible, right?
I told you about the first roommate, her rabbi. I woke up in the morning and her rabbi was playing la 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 to the whole hospital. And I'm like, oh my
God. That probably looked like a dream compared to your last.
Oh yeah, I thought that was bad. It just escalated and got further and further. Yes. Out of control. But I remember when we finally got discharged from Fox Chase and we went to Hope Lodge, and I'd been in the hospital 10 days, and they're in every hour, they're checking all your vitals, and you can't sleep. It's impossible. And I remember calling my father, and I just had so many tears in my eyes because I was so relieved. I felt like I had never felt happier and freer than to be out of that hospital. I didn't have this bag anymore. Like, I felt like I could go and do cartwheels across the lawn. Like, I felt like $1 million just getting rid of that. Oh yeah, he's probably the person I respect more than anyone in this world.
Can you even imagine how that made him feel? He must have been, I mean, as a mother, as a parent, to hear your children that happy, or to feel relieved that they've gone through hopefully the worst of it, and now they're turning the corner. I bet he was in more tears than even
I think his exact response was, no, this is the happiest day of my life. Because they walk this journey with you.
Sure.
And again, there's so much guilt. Like when you do get good news, you can't wait to tell everyone because it alleviates that burden a little bit.
Right.
You know, it gives them a second to breathe. Finally, just over the spring, I had a PET scan to make sure that everything had been eliminated and I was cancer free. And Fox Chase had found a polyp in my rectum that they wanted to take a closer look at. So they scheduled me for a colonoscopy.
Were you like, oh my God, here we
are
go
again.
Yes,
so I was really expecting like, okay, we'll just keep bringing you back for scans and we'll stay on top of it. Wait, you found a what?
Mm-hmm.
What? So then it was really holding your breath for a good month waiting for this colonoscopy. I remember the doctor came in to see me beforehand and said that it's not uncommon to get false positives of polyps in PET scans. So don't be super surprised if I wake up and he tells me he didn't find anything. So I thought, oh, all right, this is easy.
Let's hang on to that.
Yeah, I can sleep now. So when I woke up, he said, I did find a polyp and it was the largest one I've seen.
Of course. I would have been, of course, it's the largest one.
Well, I mean, I'm all about setting records. So here we go, Doc, what's next? So he said, I removed it entirely, but I took a biopsy and you'll know mid next week.
So when was this?
That was not this past week, but the one before.
Okay, so we're now past mid next week.
Yes.
And you did just tell me this literally right before we came on. So tell us.
Okay, so I finally was able to get in touch with them and I asked them the results of the biopsy and she told me that it was benign, that I don't have any cancer left in my body. I made her repeat it about 17 times because I really needed it to like sink in, like cancer free, correct?
Wow. You did say cancer free.
I'm gonna call you back in 5 minutes and you're gonna say it again.
It's on the notes.
But I remember feeling like now I have the opportunity to not be the cause of everyone's concern and now I get to share this good news. And first I had told my older daughter, and again, not an incredibly emotional kid, but we cried like babies and she kept making me repeat it. So I realized I wasn't alone. She kept saying, are you sure? Are you sure?
Mother, like daughter.
Yes. Maybe we were thick, I don't know. But my younger daughter came home from school and I told her and we hugged outside and she just didn't let go. But I could feel in her shoulders that relaxed, her muscles almost seemed to untense. We went and just by happenstance, I had to pick my husband up from work that afternoon. And I told him in the parking lot, and first he threw his fists up in the air and then he wrapped his arms around me and we hugged for, I don't know, 5 or 8 minutes. And we got back in the truck and my daughter, she's sitting like this and she said, that was such a beautiful moment. She's 12, but she's like, I just sat like this the whole time. I was so happy to see my
parents. I want someone to make a movie out of that. I really do.
It was such a great feeling to be able to say, Dad, we're good. You know, everything's okay.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Now, as if that wasn't enough, you also have one more good thing that happened.
Actually, right on my way here, run into my old supervisor who let me know that a spot may be opening back up. And there are only 4 in the prison for social workers, so it's difficult to find that exact spot. But that was, I think I was more taken aback, like they would even want me to come back, you know, after all of the chaos and turmoil that this disease has caused. And like I said, a lot of that fell on my coworkers. So for him to even bring it up was
amazing.
It felt really great. Yeah. Because I don't know what happens next.
None of us do know what happens next. And that's why I think, I mean, just you being offered your job back, or maybe a position's opening up, is such a great reason to celebrate.
Honestly, I remember in the beginning, I kept thinking there has to be a reason for this, you know, like.
What do you think?
I feel like maybe there is a message that I might be able to share with folks that, you know, like we discussed, it's not the death sentence that it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
There's hope. There are miracles that happen every day, and even though it's not glamorous or pretty, you can still find those small moments of joy and gratitude in every interaction. So my daughter had started kind of a Facebook page to keep people informed rather than having to call everyone, you know, just keep it in one spot. And that has gained so much positive comments. I think I'm even still surprised that I hear the way people look at me, and it's it doesn't feel very deserved, but I do feel like maybe I did at least in public put my best foot forward, even though I didn't feel that way at the time.
If there's grace out here and you're a dumpster fire inside, no one knows that. Just keep the grace.
Yes. Just try to maybe look composed.
Or keep the grace. But I mean, I understand what you're saying, but I am going to disagree with you because that is my nature. I think you are an amazing inspiration. I really do. And because you don't even have, it's only been a week since you've had this good news.
Exactly.
Yes, and you're like, let's get out there and let's share it with other people. And I don't think you realize, and I love the way you said you don't know what other people think about you. None of us do. We all want to know. We all think, well, it's going to be too late because it's going to be at my eulogy and I'm not going to see it anyway. But sometimes you do. It's nice to hear what people actually think about you. And I think it's well deserved. But you just taking this week and getting right back out there, and you know, there's many people who watch this show. And I will tell you, I was actually going to save it to the end, but I have a friend from high school, and I think she's on her second or third round. And she told me a couple of weeks ago that the timing of this podcast is perfect. And I said, oh, okay, why? And she said, because it comes out every other Tuesday, which corresponds exactly to my cancer treatment. Yeah. She said, I listen to the podcast through that hour. It gets me through. I love it. I feel so inspired by the time I get out of there. It keeps me going. I look forward to the next one. This one's for you and everyone else out there who is going through treatment. We have a living, breathing, shining example of that it stinks, but you can get through it. And I'd love for you to read that Facebook post.
Thank you. Yes, my daughter had posted something as soon as we found out about you know, me being able to beat this cancer. And I just wanted to share it with you guys because I feel like it really captures what this feels like from a family member's perspective. So she said, and just like that, my mom beat stage 4 colon and appendix cancer. In 2022, my mom was diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer. We were terrified, but she fought through every appointment, every treatment, and every hard day, and she beat it. In June 25, we heard the words no family ever wants to hear again. She had cancer again, and this time it was stage 4 colon and appendix. My family is big on gratitude, but between there is a lot that goes on with cancer diagnosis that most people don't see. They don't see what it's like to sit in a hospital room watching your mom suffer and wishing that they could trade places with her. They don't see the fear that follows you everywhere, wondering what the future will look like. They don't understand what it's like to constantly have what if sitting in the back of your mind. What if she doesn't get better? What if this is the last holiday, the last birthday, the last time I get to hear her laugh? Cancer doesn't just affect the person diagnosed. It changes the people who love them too. But through it all, my mom kept fighting. Not only did she fight, but my dad fought tirelessly to keep our family sane when everything felt like it was falling apart. He was her rock, her advocate, and her biggest supporter through every hospital visit, every treatment, and every sleepless night. My sister and I watched the strongest people we know refuse to give up on each other, even on the hardest days. Watching their strength carried all of us through the darkest moments. Mom, I don't think ever fully understand how much I admire you. Thank you for fighting. Thank you for staying. Thank you for giving our family one more time, more memories, and more moments together. I will never understand the pain you dealt with every single day, emotionally and physically, but I will forever be grateful that you did fight. Everything I am is because of you. I will not take anything for granted. Not everyone gets this outcome, and not a single moment will pass that we aren't aware of that. She's an incredible kid.
I'm speechless.
I really just thought that was an excellent perspective from the other side.
It's amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
I'm just really grateful for the opportunity to be able to
Oh.
share this with everyone.
We're grateful. I mean, all of our guests have added so much to our lives. Because there is no doubt this is an Alice Cooper moment waiting to happen. But all of our guests have added so much to our lives. And, you know, my son Christopher, who is our production manager, and
Wonderful
Lexi,
kid.
who handles all our social media and our guests, and she's just an amazing human as well. But you've given us so much. We will be exhausted after this because
Take a nap.
we may need to nap. But I can't thank you enough. I mean, you know, we have been at this about 8 months now, and it has been an unbelievable journey because we share it with you. And I'm so happy for you. I want to just hug you, and I want to be like, you go. And I really, and I'm at a loss for words for your daughter. I think she's a beautiful poet, and maybe she ought to keep writing it, keep that blog going because other people need it. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, I think that's a great story from a great Irish girl.
Thank you.
You've mixed the good, the bad, and the ugly with some humor and some hope and everything else that goes with it. So you really are glowing right now. You are glowing. And congratulations.
Thank you so much,
That's all I can
Kathleen.
say. Every day I hope from here on in is happier than the last.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
And I'm just so grateful that you had me on and I got a chance to share my story. It's incredible.
We're grateful, and we're grateful you shared it with everyone. And so that's another dramatic ending to another episode of Through the Hurricane. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. Thanks for listening to Through the Hurricane. Please like and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. See you next time.